Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. Let's take a look at what we're discussing. First of all, Pakistan's campaign seems to be in very serious hot waters at the moment against South Africa. And although they've pulled off a miracle of surviving a follow-on and, in this fashion, it was only time when South Africa got the better of us. It's been a very, very difficult series, particularly when you talk about all departments. And the fact still remains that Pakistan really need to, come out big in Test cricket. Shan Masood, under all sorts of scrutiny today, played almost a heroic knock, but the fact is couldn't continue further. So, once again, the question remains that when you need it the most, that's when your batters aren't stepping up. And the bowlers themselves, I think, we've become a nation that's very happy with having mediocre fast bowlers, and it's very common to say that he's got a niggle, he won't be playing the next match. So these kinds of things, I think, are really tarnishing the reputation of Test cricket in Pakistan. And the fact is that in the year 2024, Pakistan played only 7 Test matches and Bangladesh played 10. So I think that really speaks volumes of where we're going as a cricketing nation as well. And I think it all boils down back to the first class structure of the kind of pitches you have, the kind of supportive tracks that you've got, where even a medium pacer would probably go with 4 slips and take up, a highest number of wickets. The fact is that it's just not competitive anymore. So we'll talk about that in detail as well, give you all the details. Then we move on to the Quaid Azam Trophy. And of course, we talk about that in detail as well. It's been astonishing the way Sialkot have triumphed over Peshawar to take the title. It's been a great end to a very tricky season. I really appreciate the fact that the final was very, very competitive. But a lot of things have happened for the very first time in history. For the very first time, the final of the Quaid Azam Trophy was played on a non-test venue. So I think that was a bit surprising. But then again, credit to Sialkot. They played brilliantly, especially Shahzeb Bhatti. He's an individual of many talents. He can bowl with the left arm and the right arm. Both, hands can be utilized. But the way he batted when Sialkot were 9 down and chasing that target was remarkable. And then hitting that 6 when 1 run was required. A lot of, I think, heart there as well. But Sialkot have given us some great talent to talk about, including their young fast bowler who was on song as well. We'll talk about him a bit. Then Huraira, consistent. Ma Sadaqat was brilliant throughout this first-class season. So there's a lot to talk about. Peshawar has been brilliant. Unfortunately, they couldn't win the game. Then, of course, we move on and we discuss the Border Gavaskar Trophy as well with you in detail. We'll give you all the updates. But before that, we have to talk about the fact that India really is in hot waters. Their former Test cricketers have been criticizing. Sunil Gavaskar went on to say that you need to, ask the batting coach of what he's been doing. The batting failed not only in Australia, but in India against New Zealand. So at home, they had a miserable Test series as well. So he was very, very aggressive. And then, of course, you talk about the future of Rohit Sharma. He went very aggressive. He said, nobody with a pen or a paper or sitting on television is going to decide my future. I'm going to decide it myself. There's no such thing as I'm calling curtains to my Test career. I just opted to stay out of this Test match. Virat Kohli on the field now. It's not just the performance, it's the visible frustration. The sandpaper scandal, the way he mocked the Australian fans. It's turning out to be very ugly for India. And for Gautam Gambhir as well, his press conference was very aggressive. He said we need to put this under the mat and focus on the next challenge. And I agree to that as well, but you just can't bury the hatchet. You have to talk about what's gone wrong. So we'll talk about that. Still some positives, but then again, the workload on Jasprit Bumrah has led to his injury before a very important tournament. On Pakistan's end, we've already lost Saim Ayub, and that was although a naturally occurring injury, but unfortunate that scenario as well. So how they come out in the Champions Trophy is going to be very important. Then we talk about the West Indies team that has arrived in Pakistan to play their 2 Test match series in Multan. The men in maroon are all set, and they've got a 3-day practice match as well before that. So they have plenty of practice, but these 2 Test matches are going to be very important for Pakistan's campaign, considering that they come back from South Africa. It's back-to-back cricket, but you've got to be very careful of the players you play, because after this it's the Champions Trophy. So you probably need to now make some smart choices as well at the same time. And what kind of pitches will Multan offer is also, I think, that we will be discussing. Then we move on to football. We give you all the latest details about the English Premier League and all the fixtures and results as well. And of course, starting off our show with cricket, time now to introduce the guest. First of all, joining us in studios is cricket commentator, international broadcaster, presenter and our sports expert, K. Asif Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, sir?
Walaikum assalam, Ahmed. I'm perfect. Thank you.
We've also been joined by senior sports journalist and expert Abdul Jabbar Faisal. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, sir?
Walaikum salam. I am fine. Have a nice day, viewers.
Thank you very much. And also joining us is expert Hassan Malik. Assalamu alaikum, Hassan. How are you?
Walaikum assalam, Ahmed. Pleasure to be back on the show.
Right now, discussing things in detail. So, okay, Asif Ahmed, it's been a difficult day, but Pakistan managed to pull off a miracle. You know, that on follow-on, they finally realized that this pitch is suitable for batting. And that's where our batters perform. But we were really going good. Unfortunate, it was only about time when wickets started to fall.
Well, Ahmed, once again, I would like to talk about the captaincy that two batters, they scored century from South Africa. One of them scored 259. And then when you're going to reply, your batters aren't performing well. And Babar Azam, he said in the press conference that I was so confident. Early on, I scored 50 and then I was quite confident. But I got frustrated. When a player like Babar Azam, he speaks like this, that I got frustrated. What would you expect from the others like Kamran Ghulam? Or what would you expect from the batters, bits and pieces like Shan Masood, let me say that. Why he scored 145? And he got out there, and I just got a news, I was just reading an article that he was arguing with the coach that it was injustice with me because I was not out and the third umpire has given me out. I think this is senseless. And why I'm saying this, because Shan Masood is not performing well with the bat on this kind of track where you settle down, scored 145, and once again you're playing a very loose shot, and then you're referring towards the third umpire that his decision is not correct. I think it's not a good way that you showcase your sportsman spirit. One thing, and Ahmed, after this kind of performances, do you really think that we want them again in the side, especially Shan Masood, especially he is skipper and he's performing like this? I think that Pakistan Cricket Board should think about him, that he is not a perfect player, even for the Test cricket. Yeah, he's so good with the for the counties. So please send him in the UK, where he should play for England, for Ireland, and in the counties. We don't need him. Enough is enough. This is third consecutive series where Pakistan is losing. We lost against Bangladesh, we lost against Australia, and now we're losing against South Africa. So what is the future of Test cricket in Pakistan? It's a huge question mark for me.
Certainly. Hassan, how would you analyze Pakistan's performance? We knew that a tour against South Africa is going to be tough. But then again, some things are very critical, and decision making has got a lot to do with it as well. It's not that, you know, you're losing, win or lose is part of the game, but how you approach the game, considering your on-the-field tactics, is very, very important.
Ahmed, 194 for 10 was Pakistan's score in the first innings, and 194 for 0 was their score in the second innings. So this is the story of inconsistency that has enveloped Pakistan cricket in the last 3 or 4 years in particular. I mean, how can an analyst talk about this if the same team on the same pitch against the same bowling in the same match is scoring 194 all out and 194 for no loss? Nonetheless, I think it's better that Shan Masood's form has picked up a little bit. He got only one innings good in this entire series. One innings he had 151 against England as well. But I do think he's going to keep his place for the West Indies series. Beyond that, I think it's still in doubt. The big plus for me, Ahmed, from this series is the form of Babar Azam. He didn't have a half century in 19 innings coming into this series. He now has a half century in 3 half centuries in the last 2 test matches. So that's definitely a big plus. In fact, in this whole series, all of our top 6 batters, they've got at least 1 half century, apart from Rizwan, who's batting right now. Let's hope he can continue that streak as well. Pakistan currently are trailing by 68. And the optimist in me, Ahmed, does want to say that it's possible to again set a 148 kind of target like they did in the second test, like they did at Centurion. But the thing is, at Centurion, it was a spicy wicket. It was a bouncy wicket. And so Abbas was able to make a match of it, even when the target was just 148. I don't think they're going to be able to do that at the Newland Stadium. So it's a very dire state for Pakistan to be in. The only thing I want to point out about the bowling is Salman Agha bowled 38 overs. Ahmed, if this part-time spinner is bowling 38 overs, then which genius in the Pakistan setup decided we're not going to play Sajid Khan, who was the player of the series in the last test series Pakistan played? Your part-time spinner is bowling 38 overs. You're not giving your full-time spinner a chance. So I'm really hoping that Sajid and Noman are going to come back in the West Indies series. And Salman, he got the wicket of Bavuma, the Centurion. He got the wicket of Verena, who got 100. He got the wicket of Stubbs, who is one of their top order players. These crucial wickets he's getting, and yet still Pakistan is blind to the idea of picking a spinner. So that's something I'm hoping will rectify in the West Indies series.
But the captaincy question still remains pretty much open. And what is your analysis about that, Hassan? Because obviously certain quarters have started this debate now on the future of Pakistan's test skipper.
I think the debate is entirely valid, and as all of our analysts have correctly pointed out, one innings is not going to change that. Whether Shan Masood gets 145, whether he gets 80, in one innings, you can't change the fact that in his entire career, at the age of 35, he's still a batsman who's averaging under 30 in Test match cricket. And even if you don't discuss the tactics, which have been a shambles, as we've discussed in previous shows, as we saw at Centurion, the failure to get rid of tail-enders, the failure to get rid of the partnership between Rabada and Jansen, the fact of the matter is you have this one batsman who is playing as a left-handed opener in Shan Masood, and he is essentially forcing Pakistan to play with 10 players because his performances have been so few and far between. He's been chipping in with zeros and ones and twos, and now this finally 145 has come along when Pakistan has already lost the match in the series. The fact is Pakistan are being forced to carry their captain and play essentially with 10 players. And that's why I don't think he deserves his place in the side. Abdullah Shafiq is the ideal replacement who comes to mind. He's also been out of form, but he did get a century against England in the home series, which is why I do hope he'll make an appearance against the West Indies, probably replacing Saim Ayub. But I think in the long term, Abdullah and Saim should be the opening partnership. And I don't think there's a place for Shan Masood in this setup.
Well, certainly, Jabbar Faisal, have you seen anything more crazier than this? As everybody's saying, 194 all out, and then you touch 190 without losing a wicket, and on follow-on you're playing remarkably well. Only Pakistan cricket can pull off something like this.
Second innings, we are playing very good, and we took good start and added 205 running for the first wicket. But overall, Pakistan got first setback when Saim got injured. He was in form. He was scoring on the South African pitches. That was a setback for the Pakistan. Maybe they changed. Babar Azam came to open with the captain, but our question is still on the first innings. I think when the South Africa posted 615 runs on the scoreboard, they got some pressure. They were willing to make score with the big airway to I think they were trying to recover that deficit as soon as possible, but this was not strategy. I think there was lack of strategy of the captain and also official who were sitting outside and getting Mahmood salary for the Pakistan Cricket Board. They should realize this one, how to tackle this situation. They did not handle the situation according to the demand. Our batter should got some responsibility. And another thing I want to add, maybe Chairman Cricket Board talked with Saim and asked him about his health. Maybe he talked to captain and other official too. After that, they realized some responsibility and did well in the second innings. And especially there was good start. Now we are 55 run behind. We will certainly avoid the innings defeat, but need still struggle. Now on the batting, the last information, Mohammad Rizwan and Salman Ali Agha. Mohammad Rizwan is a wicketkeeper batter, performing very well. In the first inning, he scored 46, and Salman Agha is also an all-rounder, but both should have to take added almost more than 100 runs. Then we can see, no, we are okay with the team performance.
Well, certainly, but I think it'll require a lot of heart from here onwards if you can get the 61 runs still remaining of the trail completed, and then of course you post something of 150, 200, some substance where you can force the match into a draw or force South Africa on the back foot. But like I said, it would need a remarkable innings from these two, and frankly speaking, we haven't had such notable performances down the order as well, Asif.
I think
yes, Jabbar Sahab, you want to add?
There is no option of draw. There is no option for
so
draw.
You see a result happening?
Yes,
either way.
There will be because one day left.
Okay.
And today is and other things most important, we don't have a regular spinner. When they added Mehraj in the team, we should consider this decision and we should analyze that thing. We should add, there was Naman Ali, he will be part of the team, and maybe we got 150 or 70 plus, and we will have good spinners, and we can fight for the second test match. But unfortunately, all policies, all strategies are ununderstandable.
Well, third and fourth innings is supposed to be the most difficult one to bat on such a surface. But if Pakistan, have managed 360 for 5, imagine what they could have done when they were playing in the first innings. But then again, it's all about that, intent and the focus and the way you're approaching everything. But like I said, Asif, notable performances down the order haven't been frequent for Pakistan.
Well, Ahmed, to be honest, that as Hassan was talking about that, who was that genius who has taken these kind of decisions that we're going without spinners? Of course, you should take the name. That is Aqib Javed, because he's the head coach and he's the head of the selection committee as well. And he was the guy who has taken the decision that put fans over the surfaces in Multan and Rawalpindi, and then we got the results, and everybody was appreciating and applauding because he has taken some good decisions, and he brought back Mohammad Abbas. We appreciate that. But dropping Sajid, I think that wasn't a good idea. Same with the Noman. Where Keshav Maharaj, they brought a specialist spinner. We don't have the specialist spinner. Mentioning about Salman Ali Agha that he bowled more than 30 overs, and he has taken very crucial wickets of the series. Salman Ali Agha is a very utility all-rounder, and for me, he is an all-rounder. In a presser, he said that please don't consider me only a batter. I'm an all-rounder who could spin as well. So I have watched that the way he was bowling, not only in this match but the previous match as well. The only question is the intent. The only question is planning. We have only short-term plannings. Put fans on the surfaces, you will get success. And you're going to South Africa, bring back Mohammad Abbas, he'll go with the seam and swing and he'll get some success. I think that we require some long-term policies, long-term planning. We aren't sure about the skipper who's not performing well. Either he'll be in the next series or not. So how you'll go with the long-term policies and how you can take these kind of decisions, brave decisions. Okay, you're giving chances to the youngsters, we appreciate. You have given chance to the Saim Ayub. I was the person who was criticizing that in Test cricket, it's too early. But you were so consistent and you were taking these kind of decisions. I had a harsh talk with the Shan Masood, if you do remember, and Shirazi sir was so angry that you have asked this question that Shan, you are not performing well with the bat. Now I think he got an answer.
He called you negative, you remember?
Yeah, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
I'm just saying. He called you
right.
negative, and now I'm trying to search any positivity in his captaincy, which
in Shan Masood's captaincy. You're right, absolutely right. So there's the problem when you're raising these kind of questions. Ahmed, he's not performing well. Why is not taking that decision? I appreciate Rohit Sharma that in the last test he informed to the management of the Indian team that I'm not playing. The management asked why. He said that I'm not performing good with the bat. We require a proper batter who's in good form. We cannot win this series, but we can go for the draw. Even good intent from a skipper like Rohit Sharma. This kind of intent is missing in Pakistan cricket.
Well, certainly. And I often tell people that you need to focus on Temba Bavuma more. The guy's played more than 60 test matches. And look at him as a skipper. 360 on the board, 5 wickets down. He's still going with a leg slip. I mean, leg gully, leg slip. These kinds of decisions really matter.
Yeah, you are right. Okay, now let's talk about Babar Azam. That he's gaining his form back. He's getting better after 19 innings. He scored 350s. But the problem is short selection. Babar Azam, you're a world-class batter. You claim yourself that you're a world-class batter. We appreciate your batting. But the way he got out, it's unbelievable for me. Marco Jensen bowling him away from the body in the gully. If you're edging towards gully, I think then there is a question mark.
Well, I'll tell you one of my friends, I was talking to him about Babar's dismissal. He made a very critical point. He had a different opinion. He said that, I said he flashed outside the off stump. He said it's not that. Usually he would have, chased this delivery and would have hit it for 4. But right now he's struggling with fitness. He was gassed out. He couldn't do anything and he was just falling on the offside. I thought it was a very pertinent example.
Well, Ahmed, if he's struggling with his fitness, is not in good form, then why is he in the team? If he's not in good form and he has problem with his fitness, then please drop him and bring another guy. We don't want big faces. We want results. That's it, isn't it?
Well, certainly, but results will matter a lot as well. I think, Hassan, still the larger picture over here is Pakistan's share of Test cricket. It's embarrassing that we played 7 in 2024. Bangladesh played 10. A lot of these other teams played 15 and 17. I think this should be next on the PCB's charter once they speak to the ICC, and you need to move on. And another very pertinent stat came to me today is that after 1993, Pakistan have not played a Test series including 5 Test matches.
I think that's very pertinent, Ahmed, as you pointed out, because cricket is the key sport of Pakistan. It's a sport everyone here knows, recognizes. It's a sport everyone has a passion for. And if we're not playing the premier format of the game, then that's a very worrying sign for the PCB. 2024, whatever excuse you try to make that, oh, it was a T20 World Cup year, we were prioritizing T20s. Well, I don't know how well you prioritize T20s because you didn't qualify in that World Cup either. So I don't think that's a worthwhile excuse. Regarding some of the comments Jabbar Saab was making that you need to have a spinner, absolutely I agree with that. And you talk about the captaincy, you talk about the selections. There was a very interesting moment that happened early on day one when South Africa were batting. We brought in the 12th man, Abdullah Shafiq, to field after Saim Ayub got injured. And Abdullah Shafiq was brought into field right at a crucial part inside the 30-yard circle where he got a catch of Ryan Rickleton. Ryan Rickleton at that time was batting at 17. He was dropped, a sitter inside the 30-yard circle, and he went on to make 259 runs. Now step back for a moment and imagine if you subtract those 242 extra runs he went on to make. It's a completely different test match. Pakistan have the momentum. They've gotten a quick wicket. They've gotten the openers out early. They're not facing 615. They may be facing 380 odd. They won't be following on. Completely different test match. And these are the crucial moments Pakistan hasn't been capable of capitalizing on. These are the crucial decisions which a coach can't tell you, as Aqib Javed was being rightly criticized. But these are the decisions the captain has to take when the 12th man is coming in, when you're arranging the fielders, when you're rotating the bowlers. These are the things the captain has to decide. And Shan simply hasn't proven himself to be up to the task. Kashif brought out a great point about the batting order, about the mentality and fitness of the batsman. And what I want to direct our attention today to is the Quaid-e-Azam Trophy. We've just had an amazing final, and we have this amazing young rising talent from Sialkot, Azan Awais. 844 runs at an average of 77. Now, I don't know if this is correct or incorrect, but something tells me if any of our openers, if any of our middle order batsmen go into the domestic circuit today and try to average 77, I don't think they're going to be able to do it. So Azan is someone who's now contending that if Shan is to be dropped, if Saim Ayub is injured, maybe Azan could get a look in. Maybe Mohammad Musa, who's been bowling with an average of 9.81, which is hardly even thinkable. You're taking a wicket after every 9 runs on average. He's someone who's also vying for a spot. So these are the key factors to look at. The captaincy has not been up to par, and the entire team now is unstable because every player, I don't think there's any player apart from a few in the middle order, a couple of bowlers, who you can really justify their selection to a high degree.
Well, certainly, but I'm still critical of Musa and his performance. I think a lot of these fast bowlers got some great tracks to bowl on. You could hardly differentiate between the pitch and the ground. So I think that those kind of surfaces are making mediocre bowlers come up, which is costing us in terms in international cricket. But now we move on to the Border Gavaskar Trophy as well. We've got to talk about Australia's hammering of India, and India look to be in so much pressure at the moment, be it the coach, be it the players, everything about them has just turned out very, very frustrating. Jabbar Saab, how have you seen this series for India? Australia have been brilliant, of course, it was a very tough tour, but India is now in serious hot waters.
Yes, Australians were happy because they were at their home ground, and it was a bad series for the Indians. And in the last test match, I think there was again setback for India. Bumrah got injured. If he bowls in the last innings, maybe he got a couple of wickets and maybe some more entertainment in the test match. Anyhow, the Indian batting failed, top order, also middle, only 2 batters, one Pant and then Jaiswal. They did well. Virat scored 101st test match at Perth, but that was not enough for the whole series. The batter like Rahul, Kohli, Rohit, they are all not performing according to the demands of spectators at Indian Cricket Board. And one thing I want to say, Pant scored 6 runs in the last innings in just 33 balls. I think he'll listen the criticism of Gavaskar and is still playing with the same style. He did not react in
change anything about
no
it.
change, but react that one that was looking like that. But anyhow, this was not a good season for the Indian, they should think to make change.
Certainly.
And also one thing important, the officials and player must be on one page.
Absolutely. I think there is certain disagreement between that dressing room as well. Asif, how would you analyze that once you look at this Indian dressing room and the way things have been going, especially if I talk about Virat Kohli at this moment? The fact is, it's not just the performances, the visible frustrations. Now, we saw the signaling of the sandpaper scandal. You know, it's just turning out very ugly.
Well, this kind of attitude definitely left a very bad taste. And players like Virat Kohli, you got a big stature, world-class player, and if you are behaving like this, to be honest, that everybody will criticize on you, and that is a fair criticism. And you know that I'm a big fan of Virat Kohli. I don't expect these kind of things from Virat. On the other side, when we talk about the Rohit Sharma's form, yeah, it's a question mark. And but he came out in front of the camera and he said each and everything. And when you're taking responsibility, and I must appreciate a captain is saying that I'm not in good form. Thank you very much. I'm not playing. Please give chance to another player. I think for this you require a big and huge heart, and because you're taking a very brave decision. And Jasprit Bumrah was the top notch with the ball and in captaincy. I appreciate him that 2 out of 1 he has won for a very first time in Australia. Wasn't easy on that time. And as Jabbar sir was mentioning about Rishabh Pant, but Jaiswal, of course, you know, the Jaiswal is a very good prospect for India. The way he's playing, of course, that when we see his first class record, and from last 1-2 years he's performing so well. But the inclusion of Nitish Kumar Reddy was a big call. But what happened? He has proved himself that yes, if team is under pressure, I am there to perform. You know, another day I was appreciating that why India is getting better test team, though they are not performing well from last 1 year. But even then, if you see their intent, that they're giving chances to the players actually who had performed at least twice in a row in Ranji Trophy. What's happening now, Azan Awais, yes, he's a very good prospect for Pakistan, but that was his first season. He played only test 8 first-class games. So please give him chances.
Yes, that's where we're all on the same page on that as well. But look, the only big positive I've seen has been India's slip catching. It's been brilliant, trust me. He's one of the reasons why Bumrah has been so successful. They've been top-notch as a fielding side. True. Unfortunate they haven't been able to transcend those performances as well, the way that we wanted them to unfold. But, you know, it really leaves a mark as well. But thank you very much, K. Asif. Thank you very much, Jabbar Saab as well. And, of course, thank you very much, Hassan. We, of course, go towards a short break. When we come back, we discuss football in detail. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Sports Extra. We discuss football now, the English Premier League in detail. Joining us is our sports expert, Ali Mehdi. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum salam. I'm very well.
Well, who would have thought, Ali Mehdi, before the weekend that United would be able to salvage a draw, and that too against the table leaders?
Who would have thought? You know, I genuinely, going into this match, Ahmed, thought that we were going to see a repeat of 2 years ago when United got smashed 7-0 over there. I was fearing the worst. And as a United supporter who hasn't seen United win the league for about 11 years, it's been a disastrous season. You know, currently 14th position, 22 points. I was fearing the worst. But what you saw yesterday was an absolutely incredible performance. This is the sort of performance which we need from United day in and day out. They went toe-to-toe with the leaders of the Premier League. You know, did very well. They had possession, shared possession, shots on target. What they did is nullified the effect of Salah, and then also their attackers too, of McAllister and Gravenberch. And I thought they were absolutely brilliant on the day. You would think that, you know, that this Liverpool would score freely in the first half, but they didn't. It was actually United through Lisandro Martinez, an amazing pass through Bruno Fernandes, that he smashed the ball and it went to the top of the net, and he got the opening goal. Gakpo scored an amazing goal in the 58th minute, after which Salah scored through a controversial penalty, which I didn't think it was a penalty, but then wrapped up by Amad Diallo. But I think the real disappointment was that Harry Maguire, you know, you've spoken about him so many times, Ahmed, on the show, you know, over the past years. he had a chance to end United's misery. He had the ball on his plate when Xerxes actually passed it to him. Unfortunately, he couldn't finish it off. 2-2 it finished, but a great result for United in the right direction.
Now, what does it do to their chances as well? Because although they've managed to salvage a draw, which is the right word, but the fact is that they still have to consider that this is a sinking boat at the moment.
Look, it is a sinking boat. It can't get any worse than their 23 points after 20 league games. This is the worst start for United after half a season in more than, I would say, about 50 years. So it's very disappointing. But look, we always knew, and the great Cristiano Ronaldo, when asked a week ago, he said that, the storm will continue, but then, the sun will rise again. The storm will end and then it will get all rosy again. That's what I feel for United. Look, Amarim has taken from a very difficult position. Ten Hag did well over 2 seasons, got 2 trophies, but the team was going in nowhere. At least we have a style of playing now, possession-based, pressing-based. I thought United played very well yesterday. Yes, there was a lot of problems, controversies, old players not performing up to the task, but now that he's got some time, he's done well against the big teams. Man City, he went away and won at the Etihad. He went and got a draw, which he should have at Anfield. Now is the big one, a rematch against against Arsenal in the FA Cup. I think now these big matches, if he can do well in them, then obviously what will happen is the confidence will go into the Premier League and the other teams.
Well, finally, you must talk about Manchester City, who have annihilated West Ham United. Haaland was brilliant when it mattered the most as well. City managing to get in the groove again.
Look, in the groove of the game, they've been absolutely, they've been really through the mill. So many defeats. There were 2 months, I think they only got about 2 victories. This is not the Manchester City we've known over the past 5 years, winning a Champions League, about 4 league titles. It was very unheard of. But look, Manchester City, now they're getting their groove back. Kevin De Bruyne is back in form. Haaland getting a couple of goals. I think things are in the right direction for them. Savinho also doing well. Now that Rodri hasn't been there for a while, they're actually coping without Rodri. So I think it's a step in the right direction, but you have to write them off. They're not winning the Premier League this season.
Well, certainly. And I think a lot of that has to do with, off the field things that have been going wrong as well. But thank you very much, Ali Mehdi, for joining us. That wraps up Sports Extra from me and my entire team. It's goodbye.